I'd like to talk about contracting and consulting. And contracting and consulting is something that a lot of indie developers, myself included, needed to do to keep the lights on and fund their projects and everything. And I was pretty upfront, I think, with Neverending Nightmares that, our Kickstarter budget and Free the Games fund was not the entire budget for the game. We were going to supplement it with contracting and consulting, and we did some really interesting and exciting projects that I enjoyed. And in general, I like doing contracting and consulting, and there's definitely some interesting things, and sometimes it's nice to sort of, take a break from what you're doing your own thing and work on some other stuff. So, I mean, I think it's worthwhile to consider to consider accepting, contracting and consulting tasks. There's a few things that are probably worth sharing. Firstly, work you're doing for other people doesn't necessarily build the value of your company the same way that doing the work for yourself does. So basically, some of the contracting projects I worked on, I signed an NDA. I can't tell you what I did. I mean, it's really cool. I wish I could tell you what I did, but I can't. So, I mean, that's something that is a little more complicated in terms of, building the value of your company, even building your value of yourself as a contractor or a consultant. If you can't talk about the project, then it's difficult to, use that as a recruiting thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't think most of them are that strict, but and there's definitely something to be said for building value as a contractor or consultant, and because then you can usually get people asking you to do more of that. And one of the interesting strategies, I think I saw the talk in GDC China, of all places, but I think they did it at GDC and Unite, maybe, Owlchemy Labs. I don't know if you know them, but they're awesome guys. Love them. They did a talk, I think it was called Continually Bootstrapping Your Studio, and their idea was you spend 6 months a year working on consulting projects, 6 months a year, or contracting. I don't know if they draw a distinction, or if there's really a huge distinction, and then 6 months a year working on your own stuff. And then basically the idea is you bill the 6 months of contract work such that if your product sells 0 copies, you're still staying in business. And that's really awesome and really brilliant. But at least for me, I think it's challenging to do, and it's challenging to do for a number of reasons. And the first reason is that it's tough to get the entire team, a contracting gig. The stuff that we've done, mostly needed programmer work, and so I'm working on it, or Dan's working on it, or both of us are working on it, while we try and juggle our duties, pushing forward on development, because the artists, they don't need a whole development studio. I mean, not that we're a huge development studio, but I mean, I think that's often the case. So that can be a bit challenging. And then also I found that sort of juggling 2 projects and sort of in the mindscape, I mean, sometimes it's nice for a break, but you have two projects with 2 deadlines, and it feels like twice the pressure. So that makes things a little more complicated. But I mean, again, it is nice to work on something fresh and interesting. I mean, at least I've been very fortunate to find projects that are interesting to me, and even I've had to turn down projects that are interesting, which it kind of sucks, but you know, there's only so many hours in the day. Um, you know, I think ideally, you know, at some point it might be nice to move completely away from doing you know, contracting and consulting. I think that's you know, a potential goal. But I think it's definitely going to be challenging to pull that off. And you know, I mean, I don't know. There might be some projects that you know, might be too good to refuse. Like, you know, recently I've been thinking like, oh man, it'd be nice to do some more, you know, AAA development. I miss that sort of thing. I mean, as much I love indie development and I prefer it to AAA, but you know, there are some cool things about AAA. But I mean, I don't think, you know, normally if you're gonna contract on AAA, you know, it's like, oh, this game ships in a month, you know, we need you to work a month of overtime, which doesn't really fit in with, you know, being the project leader on at Infinitap, and so probably that's not going to happen. But there's plenty of other interesting things I could work on. You know, if I had the time or if the right thing presents itself. But sort of going back to what Owlchemy said, I think it can be very challenging to schedule 6 months and 6 months, or even, you know, on and off, because at least we've found, you know, when it rains it pours, and so at some point we have, you know, too many things going on and we have to say no to some contracting things, and then other times we're like, oh man, we really could use, you know, something now, but we don't have that, and so I don't know how they do it. I probably should ask them, but it's definitely an interesting idea, and I mean, even if you don't pull it off, I think it's something to consider. But I mean, I think contracting and consulting is something that's worth pursuing if you have those options available to you. The extra money can really help add some polish to your game. Certainly with Neverending Nightmares, we basically traded some programmer time to get some art time. You know, basically because the artists could be paid with some of our profits of our, you know, contracting deals, contracting contracts. So that was really good that because I think, you know, we really needed the art, and certainly one could argue we could have used even more art on Neverending Nightmares, but I don't think anyone felt like there wasn't enough programming. At least I hope. Hopefully. That's not the case. So anyway, I apologize if this is a little random, but basically there's definitely pluses and minuses to, you know, contracting. That you're not necessarily building value for your studio, but you're, you know, gaining money and also experience doing different things. And you know, some of the contracting stuff we did was about audio and these head-related transfer functions, and we were actually able to, you know, gain some knowledge in that field, and then apply that to Neverending Nightmares. And the head-related transfer functions is the headphone mode, and that we strongly recommend, and I think it makes a huge difference in the quality of the game audio. So definitely, I think there's great things about consulting, but it is sometimes a little challenging to say, you know, oh, I could be, you know, marketing my game, or I could be doing something, you know, related to my passion projects. But again, it definitely has pluses too. So thanks for watching.